Hello, I'm Janice, and today I would like to share my love story. And so today I have someone special here with me, and that is my better half. Kindly introduce yourself.
Hello there. I am Reverend Cephas and I'm happy to be here today.
Hello, and welcome to Just Janice Janice. I am Janice, and I hope our love story and how we met will have you encouraged. So, how did we meet?
Uh, Hello again. I was working in Butere as a missionary, and I was teaching pastors. Also, Janice was teaching pastors. So I think she was working with the Living Water International. She was training, and I was also training. Uh, Then at the hotel where she used to stay, that's where the vicarage was, and that's also where I used to stay. So a friend of mine, his name is Reverend Augustus, uh, looked at Janice, and they talked for about maybe 3 to 4 days. I didn't know that they were talking, but I think Janice was very generous to Augustus, and whenever she could buy some juice, she could give to Augustus, and Augustus loved her so much. And Augustus also came to know that the mother to Janice comes from Uganda, and he was very interested to introduce me to Janice. So when I was introduced to Janice at Heshimuli guest house in Butere, when I was introduced to Janice, and she got to know that I was from Uganda, where her mother comes from. We started talking, and we became friends. That's how we met.
Well, that's according to him. I believe that's maybe how he was told the part of the story by his friend. But I remember I had gone for a training workshop where I was training some groups of people. We had done a project for them back then. And so that particular day, I decided to stay at the hotel. The hotel is owned by the church, by the ACK church. So I decided to stay in that hotel, and during that first night when I stayed there, I saw these two friends. They were sitting somewhere in a corner, and they were having some stories, and I could overhear their stories, and and Augustus and him, they were talking about theology, and so I picked some interest in their conversation, because back in campus I was very interested in philosophy, and so I got interested to know, what is this guy talking about theology, and I wanted to know the relationship between theology and philosophy. And also at some point, I think you stood up and you walked. I think you were going to the washroom, and I was like, this guy has very nice lips. and so and so I was like, okay, and he's a Ugandan, he's coming where my mom is coming from. I would like to know him more. So now that you know how we met, maybe we can also share what we liked about each other. Is there a specific thing that you liked about me that maybe made you get drawn to me?
Yeah, I think it was your decency, the way you presented yourself at the hotel, and the generosity, and also being outgoing. I think I liked that, and the fact that I saw you teaching. Okay, I realized that you are also a hardworking woman,
Okay.
not a lazy girl. So I decided, I think this lady can be my friend, and I think the first time I saw you, I was like, I'll marry this woman.
Really?
Yeah.
What about physical appearance?
I think you weren't this big when I saw you. You were just a tiny girl.
Yeah, I was like 55 kgs.
Yeah, a tiny girl, very black. And you didn't have makeup on you. That also attracted me to you, because I can't afford buying makeup. I can't afford buying makeup. So,
I'll start using makeup now.
so
You have
yeah,
to dig deeper.
I just like the modesty, the modesty where you are.
Mhm.
And also you weren't that, you were just a beautiful girl, a beautiful little girl that I saw, and I was like, okay, I can even carry her.
Yeah, I was very portable.
But now I can't.
Gym, you are going to go to the gym. You have to work on some muscles. Yeah, I think for me, what I liked about you, like I said earlier, I think physically the first thing that I got drawn to was like, I saw this guy was cute, and he had some very nice lips. They still they're still very nice, by the way. Well, for me, uh, I think I had a battle in my heart. I was struggling with accepting the physical attribute because for the longest time I had put in my mind I had put I had put in my mind that I wanted tall, dark, and handsome. Yes, you are handsome,
Dark,
you are dark,
but short.
but you are short. Not very short.
By the way, I am 5'6".
Yes,
Okay.
you're 5'6", but you know those days I liked to wear heels 6 inches. I liked to wear heels 5 inches or 7 inches, so I could picture myself with the heels, and then I add to my five. I'm 5'4". Yes, I'm 5'4". I add to my height. I felt I would be looking at you like this, and I felt that I would be uncomfortable, and I felt that maybe people would judge us in a funny way, and I didn't want that. But the reason why I ended up knowing that you are my perfect match, or that getting married to you would be good, is that I prayed and I asked God to help me find peace in the decision to, you know, to be in a relationship with you. I remember when you used to visit, sometimes, I don't know if you noticed, I could let you walk ahead of me and I could walk behind, because somehow in my mind I was just not that battle that I was having in my mind, that hey, how are we looking walking together, like we are the same height. So I had that internal battle. But when God gave me peace, then I was like, you know what, Janice, forget about the physical attributes. God has
Forget about the height.
yes, the height. Forget about the height. You have peace. Go with it. Yes, and that's how I made my peace. And even up to now, I can talk about it. I can talk about your height. I can make fun of it, of us being almost the same height, and just laugh about it without feeling my heart is hurt or anything. I'm just at peace, and I've made peace with the fact that I can wear heels if I want to. I can wear flat shoes if I want to. At the end of the day, it's not about height.
Anyway, we don't walk on the road. We are always in the car, so we'll see you standing with me.
Anyway, so how did you know that I was the one for you?
Yeah, I think having been from Kampala, first of all, I didn't want to get a woman from Buganda. Okay, I didn't want my kids to just speak Uganda throughout and English. I wanted a woman who is not from Uganda, but not also a white lady. I just wanted a black woman, not from my tribe. Yeah. Secondly, I wanted a graduate. Yeah. I didn't want to go for a woman who has failed in education, and because I knew I was going far, so I needed a woman who can keep up with my pace. Also, I wanted a woman who is God fearing. Okay. I also wanted I wanted a woman who has a responsible family. I wanted to have a woman with a father alive and mother alive, and the mother and father are living together due to my own reasons. Um, yeah, and I think those are the things that I loved. Also, I wanted a lady who loves God, who goes to church and serves in the church. That is the kind of a woman I wanted. And I wanted a woman who is a giver. Okay? Yeah, I wanted a woman who is a giver, not a receiver. Okay? So,
So you didn't want to buy gifts?
Yeah, I didn't want to buy gifts. Because if I can't keep on buying gifts, giving, I should give and receive. Okay? And you give and you receive. So I wanted a relationship which was balanced, okay, where we appreciate each other. And I realized that you were one of your strongest points was being generous. Okay, for the first time in my life, I went to a zoo. Okay, I went to a zoo. Yeah, and you took me there. You paid the bills, and I was like, this is a very good woman. If a woman can give, it means that she can stay with you. Yeah, that was my. That's when I knew that we are perfect. How much?
Okay. And something else that I loved about you, now when it comes to the inside part of somebody, I loved that you knew God. In my checklist for the kind of man that I wanted to get married to, the first thing that I promised myself I would not compromise on, I wanted someone who knew God. I wanted someone who had a personal relationship with God, someone who would walk with me and we walk together so that I can also grow. So that was something that it was an unnegotiable attribute that I wanted. I think those two, at that particular day, those are the two things that I can say I liked about you. What about dislikes? Was there anything you disliked?
No, I think at the first sight, I did not look at many things. Yeah, I didn't look at. I just looked at you, and I knew where you're coming from. One of the other things that made me get very attracted to you is that you were coming from Kisumu, and I wanted to go to Kisumu. Okay, so I wanted you to take me around Kisumu, and you did that. By the way, my first time to go in that tuk-tuk, I was in Kisumu in all my life. Yeah. So and I was told that ladies from Nyanza, they make good wives. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, they make good wives. And I was told that they can accept any person who comes to them, regardless of their tribe. So yeah, that's why I decided to. I didn't have any dislike at that moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, that's not the case. That's not the case for me. That's not the case for me. Okay, but then I didn't have any thoughts of I want this guy to be my husband or anything. I just had those instances when I felt like you are cute, you know God, and I just wanted to be your friend so that I can know more about theology, and that was just it. But then when I started to have interest in each other, there's at that time when I invited you for lunch, when I was having lunch with my colleagues. And so when you went to wash your hands at the sink, I think that's the first time I decided to, to steal a glance and look at you. So when you were going to the sink, I was like, oh my God, this guy is short. I was like, oh my goodness. Ooh, I was looking for, the way ladies react. We always want tall, dark, and handsome.
But now I'm taller than you.
1 inch taller than me, and I was somehow disappointed, by the way. I was like, now, what is this surely? What am I getting myself into? I don't want to get married to a short man. I don't want to get married and have short
Children.
babies. Not that being short is bad. I don't have anything against short people, but that was just my preference.
But our
As-
babies are not short.
As a young girl back then. As a young girl. Yeah, so how long did we date before we got married?
I think our dating was about 1 year and 3 months.
Yeah,
Because
but
we met in
we met in
September.
end of September.
Yeah, end of September 2016, and our wedding was January 2018.
But then you proposed after
After 5 months.
After 5 months.
On 14th of February 2017. Yeah.
Yes, and I felt like you were moving. I
Eh,
felt you were taking me so fast. I felt like, who proposes after 5 months?
Yeah, in Luganda, where I come from, they say echumo chikuba chichayo cha. That means that you bend the iron when it is still hot. So you don't wait for it to become cold. So I didn't want to wait for you to become cold on me. I wanted to bend you before you when you're still hot.
Well, I think I decided to take that step of faith because previously, you know, when we met, I was in a relationship that we had stayed for like 3 years, and so I was like, well, in my mind, I had believed that, you know, before you get married to someone, you have to date for like 3 years so that you know that person very well. But I came to realize that you can never know someone fully. You just need to know enough to get you to the altar, and then the rest you will continue to know each other after you've entered marriage, and God will give you the strength to.
Yeah, but before that, before the altar, you must pray. Pray. You must pray, asking God to help you get the best person for yourself. Because also seeing you was just an end in itself, because the beginning of seeing you was prayers. Okay. Yeah, I was praying for a woman. I had my checklist before God, and see, all the way from Kampala, then to Butere, then see where we are in Nakuru. So God knows our destiny, and He has our best match. You might be in Nakuru, but your best match is in London. Yeah, you might be in Nairobi, and your best match is in Sondu, Nyakachi. You might be in Homa Bay, and your best match is somewhere in Netherlands. So God is the destiny maker and the best matchmaker, because He's the one who created us. He knows exactly who should be by our side in our lifetime. Prayer is key.
Well, I can't add anything to that. So, yeah, it's good to have you by my side.
It's good to have you by my side too.